used a lot in presentations, and that's what it means on that sheet on progressive disclosure. Now, do you have to have what I just showed you on every slide? No. You can pick a slide or two and do progressive disclosure. It doesn't have to be on every slide. Okay? So, let's go ahead and go to the next one, which is the really hard and difficult texture background. No, it's real easy. Okay? So let's do this. On the texture background slide, I want to get rid of this box here. Let me show you this. If you want to get rid of anything on PowerPoint, all you need to do is keep clicking. You might have to click off and then back onto the box until the box shows up with the little pointers around it. It's going to have circles on the edges and squares in the middle of the line. Just hit the delete key. We'll get rid of it. Once you select it, now we're going to right click on that slide, format background, and I want us to go down to the picture or texture fill, and here's where you begin to select different textures for your slide. And again, as I told you at the first of class, this might not apply to your this was actually not too bad. That one's pretty light background. And so, but texture actually does give some texture to it. It gives it, in some, I actually like this one. It's not too bad for, you know, a professional presentation. I'll show you another one I like. It's not as bad as far as too overwhelming as far as color-wise. Yeah, that one I think I've already shown you. This one here is not too bad either. I like that one. It's kind of a granite kind of look, a granite effect. Right-click on any slide. Doesn't matter what slide it is. Right-click on it. Format background. Go to the area that says picture or text fill, and then there's a drop-down for texture. And you select the texture you want and apply it. Now, you'll notice when I apply this, it only gave it to this slide. If I wanted to apply to all slides, which I might, I just click Apply to All, and it's going to put it on every one of my slides, that background. Okay? Make sense? So let's go over this one more time real quick to make sure you've got it. For the first one was custom bullets. You download an image from the internet, or maybe you have one on your computer already. You go to the Home tab. You got to be in a text box first here. Go to the Home tab. You've got to be in a text box to do this, by the way. Click on the drop down on bullets. Go to bullets and numbering. Picture. Import. Find that image that you want to create a bullet of. Then click OK. And then from that point on, you've got those bullets to choose from, or that bullet to choose from, basically, within your presentation. Okay? Next is video. A couple ways you can do the video. When you're home, I would suggest the Bender converter. It does only allow you to do it once a day on Bender converter, okay? Once a day, I believe, is the limit it gives you. It might be 2 times a day, but I know for sure once a day it lets you do it. Because I did it downstairs or upstairs and then here, both, and that was it. Then once you guys tried it, it was done. So Bender converter is one way. The next way is downloading Google or Firefox at home, going to Tools, Add-ons, typing in for the add-ons YouTube, and selecting the YouTube video downloader, which I think I already have applied to mine. That's why it's not showing up in here. Let's see here. Yeah, there's my easy YouTube video downloader. 4.1 is the one you want. When you do that and you download it into Firefox, it has you restart Firefox. What's great about it is when you go to YouTube the next time, you're going to have some options to download a video that you didn't have before. And so we'll pretend that this is a video that we want. We go to download as, and you want to select MP4. This is just a higher quality MP4 video. And then the third way was in our lessons folder, insert YouTube video into presentation. This is a plugin that you have to download and then install into PowerPoint. Graph, when you create a new slide, it has a graph option. You can right-click on a graph, go to Edit Data, to edit your data to fit your presentation. Okay? Doesn't have to be anything major. Okay? Just fit some type of data within your presentation and create a graph for it. If you need help before you leave, come up and see me and I'll help you figure out something to create a graph of on your presentation. How many slides? Well, you're supposed to be doing 3 to 5 per week, so at least 15 slides. 9 to 15 slides roughly is your presentation. Then the sound effect. Pick one slide on your presentation to apply a sound effect. You have to have an object selected of some type. Go to animations, transition sound, and then select your presentation. It has to fit your presentation. Yep. Then next is slide transitions. For this one, you've got to go to the slide sorter. Click on each slide one at a time. Select your presentation transition one at a time. Remember I said if you start with left, go to right. If you start with top, go to bottom, so on and so forth. Then hyperlinks. Text hyperlink or picture hyperlink. Any object. What's the shortcut key for that? Everybody remember? Control K. Control K on any object will bring up the hyperlink, edit hyperlink dialog. You copy in or paste in that address, hit OK, and then when you play that presentation or that slide and you're in front of an audience, you click on that link, it takes you right to that, and this is good too, and I didn't go over this, but what's great about it is as soon as you show the website or whatever you're showing them, and you click on the PowerPoint slide again, notice it goes right back to full screen mode. Right back to full screen mode. You go right, continue on presenting. Progressive disclosure, all that means is bringing in item one at a time. You go to any slide, and you're going to go to animations, custom animation, and then begin selecting one at a time the items, how you want them to come in. And just a note on this one, entrance means it's not going to show up until you click, okay? Emphasis means anything you select here, everything's going to show up, and then it's going to emphasize as you click those items, whatever you've selected. Exit is going to only happen when you leave that slide or when that item leaves that slide. And then motion paths, you can do everything from what I showed you earlier to even a custom path, which basically means you can put any object on here, which I'll show you here real quick, which is kind of funny. I'll show you how to do this. Say I want this line to start here, this tiger to start here, and line to start here and work its way up. I can click on this object, go to motion path custom, and I want to do freedom here. Now watch. End up right there. And I'm going to come back to the beginning. Okay. So you can kind of go crazy with that. And then you can play this to see how it's going to look. If you don't like any of them, you just click on it and you can delete it, remove it from it. Just basically over here on the right, you can right-click and delete any one of these timings you have on here just by right-clicking and deleting and removing it. That's all you've got to do. Okay? And then lastly was texture background. Right-click on a slide, format background, select picture or text fill, and then select your texture. I would stick with a texture that's not as obtrusive to your presentation, and you should be good to go. All right? Action button. Action button is actually, you can actually apply one of these as an action button. This progressive disclosure, because when you're space barring through your presentation and items are coming in, that can be an action button. That's fine. Yep, that's fine. Good question. Okay, so let me quickly go over this before I let you go, because next week is a final in here. What you need to have between now and next week done is this. In week three assignment, we've went over all these, but you need to add 5 to 7 pages or 5 to 7 slides to your presentation, custom bullet on one or more slides, video, doesn't have to be from YouTube, but it needs to be some type of video into your presentation. Add a graph or a chart, add a different slide transition for each slide, and then add a sound clip that's fitting to your presentation. Do everything I just said, yes. And then make sure, before you leave, I'll pass these out real quick, the rubric, you need to go ahead and begin checking off, making sure you have everything in your presentation checked off on this rubric. If you don't have one, go ahead and pass those down. I know you have one you're using. You got one? Okay. You got one? Okay. All right. Next week when we come to class, you need to have your presentation with you on a USB drive, okay? And let me just show you real quick what's going to happen. When you come to class this week, and please try to be here on time or early next week, because we need to start right on time. So we're going to go right to the end next week. So let's go over the agenda real quick. You're going to come to class with your presentation in hand. We're going to take that presentation and put it on a CD, and I'm going to show you how to do that. We actually have the steps of how to do it. I'll bring the CDs to class for you, along with the cases to put them in. We'll do that very first thing together, create a CD of your presentation. Secondly, on your row, you're going to present your presentation. You'll find a computer on your row that has speakers that are working. You'll present your presentation. You guys will choose on your row which one you're going to use, which computer you're going to use. Each person will come around and give their presentation. You'll also have a peer evaluation at the end of your group session. Then finally, before you leave, you're going to turn in the CD that you created, and your final grade will be emailed to you next Friday. Okay? Yes?
We don't want to bring in a flash drive because of my phone.
Can you have what now?
We don't want to bring it in on a flash drive. Is that what you said? That we should do?
Yeah, I'd recommend it on a flash drive just to make sure that that's working.
Can't I just email it? That's what I'm working on right now.
You can, but the problem with that might be if you have a video, an external video into your presentation, it might be a problem. So I would say probably best, you can go ahead and email your PowerPoint, but I'd make sure and also have a USB version of it as well, bring it to class, along with your video. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right, so up to this point, you should have at least 9 or more slides of your presentation completed, from title slide all the way up through last week. This week, you've got 5 to 7 more slides to add, and your conclusion slide. And what do we need to put on our conclusion slide? Anybody remember? Thank you. Now, let me show you. If you want to know what it should look like at the end, I have an example on week 4 in the example folder of a final example. Here's the package, and then here's the actual presentation. I'll look at the package first. It's a zip file. It's a compressed folder. Let me show you what it looks like. This is actually a finished presentation, all zipped together, using that package, CD package thing we're going to be using next week. It's built into PowerPoint. And the whole purpose of this